The story of DC's Absolute Universe continues this week with the release of Absolute Martian Manhunter number 2. If you haven't been keeping up with DC's new line of comics, then the quick and dirty summary is that this alternate universe was created by the evil new god Darkseid, and it is permeated with his malevolent energy. In practice, what this means is that the world skews towards all things wicked. People are generally apathetic, selfish, and disadvantaged. And this has a dramatic impact on the heroes of the world too. Although despite their significant differences, they're still recognisably the characters we know. Absolute Martian Manhunter tells the story of FBI agent John Jones, who is part of the Stochastic Terror Division. It's his job to track down potential terror attacks that are difficult to predict, like mass shootings or random bombings, perpetrated by lone individuals without a set ideology. After surviving a suicide bombing in a coffee shop in the first issue, Jones has started to see things. Plumes of colourful, pillowing smoke that, once inhaled, inform Jones of that person's life. Likewise, a voice now lurks inside his head, something alien. It identifies itself as Martian, not in the sense that it's from Mars, but more in the sense of being a catch-all term for extraterrestrials, and it deliberately intervened to save Jones from the explosion. So the absolute version of Martian Manhunter, or the slightly more comical but socially unacceptable name that the Martian picked for itself, isn't the last surviving Green Martian. He's an extra-dimensional entity that inhabits the mind of a dedicated FBI agent. The Martian proposes a partnership between the two, but Jones is pretty certain that this is a lingering side effect of significant head trauma. He should have taken time off to recuperate, but he had a dozen active investigations on the go. He couldn't just sit on the sidelines and wait to feel better. And that's where this second issue picks up, with Jones feeling certain that these new powers of his are entirely in his head. Before getting further into the ins and outs of this issue, I wanted to share the good news that this series has been increased from 6 issues to at least 12 after some very high sales. DC are also publishing a second print of issue 1. It's really good to see that there is a market for incredibly creative comic books like this one. Now, as for this issue, it continues to be a delightful psychedelic journey that Jones is going through to get to grips with his situation as he tries to stop a rampaging shooting. This time, the perpetrator very deliberately targets a part of town called Little Damascus due to its dense population of Syrian refugees. The attack mirrors real-world hate crimes that often target minorities, and this particular panel hits incredibly hard. Although in this case the perpetrator, Trigger Taylor, believes that these foreigners are literal aliens from outer space pretending to be human beings. He uses the same dehumanizing xenophobic language that the racists do, complaining about how they look strange, are acting as if they're part of society when really they're not, and how when they speak English, it comes out funny. However, unlike the real world, Taylor's mind is influenced by what the Martian calls a white Martian, another mind-altering extra-dimensional entity, implanting an invasion-coded classic us versus them delusion, which the Martian is easily able to dismantle. The irony here is that he is exactly what he's accusing other people of being. He was a host to the White Martian. He was the outsider, not the refugees. Yes, the Martian uses his alien abilities to clear away the brain rot, identifying it as being pretty generic. But writer Dennis Camp is essentially saying that these toxic ideologies don't hold up to very much scrutiny at all, and that any sane, rational person should be able to dismiss them. And yet, here we are. While Jones had been trying to talk Taylor down, reading his thoughts, or should that be smelling his thoughts, and impersonating his childhood best friend, the police were quick to respond by shooting Taylor in the head. There's a beautiful panel showing the coloured smoke leaking from the bullet wound, everything Taylor was, all the things he loved, floating away and dissolving into nothing. There's a very palpable sense of despair over the senseless loss of life, including Taylor's. He was a schizophrenic drug addict whose mind had been infected by nefarious beings trying to further their culture war. Jones can hear the thoughts of the victims and those that are at risk. One man thinks a prayer to himself as he dies. Another laments the fact that he never got to play for Manchester United, and another woman thinks of how her entire family were killed in Syria's civil war, and how her bloodline may very well come to an end here. It really drives home the senselessness of these kinds of awful acts. And it's interesting that Taylor was killed just as the Martian was tracking the memory of when Taylor first started feeling this way. Does this indicate that the authorities have also been infiltrated by the White Martians, or is it more a commentary on their general philosophy of shoot first, ask questions later? Note that Jones's boss chastises him for trying to talk Taylor down when he could have just killed him there and then. That was one part that I found a little hard to believe. Usually, when the perpetrators of mass shootings are white males, the police do everything they can to bring them in peacefully, and sometimes they take them out for burgers afterwards. Absolute Martian Manhunter 2 is available now from all good comic shops. If you are based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's biggest comic book retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in the pinned comment on this video. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, I am getting perilously close to filling up our storage unit. You may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have an affiliate link with them, which you could use to help my channel out. This is also included in the pinned comment. And I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to you all if you have joined me over here on this new channel. Obviously, my main channel will continue with videos looking at characters seen in the DC cartoons, but I appreciate all of you coming over to this new channel to talk specifically about comic books. Now, to those that have read the issue, what did you think? Despite having something that only vaguely resembles a face, am I the only one that really enjoys how expressive the Martian is? How long do we think it'll take for Jones to fully embrace the Martian? By now he has to realise that this isn't just some delusion brought on by a blow to the head, right? And what scathing allegorical story will come next? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next time, I'll be back on Saturday to discuss Absolute Wonder Woman 7, where Diana faces off with Hades' monstrous chimera, before making an incredibly difficult decision. Hope to see you then.